Hey guys, it's Optimus Primal. We're back with another video, and we are on to part 4, reviewing all of Micheal Bay's Transformers movies. Here with Transformers Age of Extinction, as we gear up for tomorrow to watch Transformers The Last Night. Now I want to wish all of the fathers out there a happy Father's Day. I want to thank my wife here and my daughter for getting me the world's best dad mug. And I've had this for a while. My daddy is as brave as Leonardo and smart as Donatello, and it goes through all 4 of the Turtles t-shirt. But figured, you know, with Father's Day it would be a perfect time to watch it. Now, this movie, it's got a lot of ups and a lot of downs. There are so many things that we're gonna cover because, good God, what did you think of this movie?
It was there. No. It was alright. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, there's good parts. The scenes are not so awkward with the human interaction. The bots are all angrier, but rightfully so. The action is good. There's almost too many humans at this point. There's so much going on. You can't keep track of names and who is dealing with who and what they're doing, and so there's just some confusion. But it's overall it's more of an action movie, I felt like, than the other 3. At least, I felt like it could have been outside of the whole Transformers realm, and it could have just been an action movie if they really chose to go that way, or if it wasn't within the Transformer series of movies.
I think this movie was plain out exhausting. I think it was 2 hours and 45 minutes long. It goes on forever. It's really, really long. There are so many action sequences, and then there are parts that just don't connect together.
Yeah,
it just seems that they needed it to be there, and it wasn't edited to make you feel like it was coherent. It was it was just bouncing all over the place. It was moving here to move there, to move here to move there. And by the end of it, you're like, wait, what just happened? There are literally parts that I had to rewatch 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, to figure out what was going on or make sense of what they were talking about in a future time frame.
Right. I mean, some of it, obviously they're connecting the dots in some places, but I was just really confused. And the way they dive into history, in this one, is even more confusing because it makes paleontologists probably beyond angry. Yeah.
Metal Age.
Right. So, the movie starts off at 65 million years in the past, and the dinosaurs, instead of getting hit by an asteroid, as we are told, in history, it's that the creators, which are these alien creatures that look more organic than anything else, actually came to Earth and cyberformed the planet and actually used the metal to build Transformers, I guess, bring them back to Cybertron. And we don't know who these creators are. I'm going to guess, obviously, we're taking a guess because the next movie is Transformers The Last Night. They're going to dive into the quintessence, going with the cartoon origin of the Transformers. And then we shift to the present, and they dig up metal dinosaur fossils, and we are left with more questions than answers, when it comes down to it. We also find out that the Autobots and the humans and the government are no longer tied together thanks to the events of what happened in the last movie, and so it's 5 years later. Chicago's rebuilt, but yet Chicago is the reason why the Transformers are now being hunted. And we also learn that Kelsey Grammer's character is hunting. Yeah, he's hunting Transformers with a force called Cemetery Wind, and they don't care if they're Autobots or Decepticons. They're just hunting them. And we see that he's hunting a Transformer, and it turns out to be Ratchet. Yeah. And Ratchet, man, he doesn't get very much storytelling in the first 3 movies. And then now you see him in this movie, and you're just you feel so bad for him because he was just he was there and present.
Yeah, for everything prior.
And
like I said before, the last 3, it's too easy to kill them. In my opinion, it just
this
it's
one
too
though,
easy. It's
they had
stupid.
the help of a Transformer bounty hunter by the name of Lockdown.
Yeah.
Now, Lockdown is not a G1 character. Lockdown came from Transformers Animated. They actually took that into account and actually brought that character in to the movies. They even added his hook, and they added his a couple of his different wrist attachments that he has, and he's actually the one that kills Ratchet, but he uses
Face
his
transforms into a gun.
That is the
Very strange.
weirdest thing ever. He literally when his face transforms, we're like, what?
It doesn't even make sense, but it does, I guess, and I don't know.
The one thing about him, about when he transforms into a car, you don't know what kind of car that he is. If you're actually looking at him in robot mode, until you actually see the Lamborghini symbol, you don't see any Transformer parts on him at all.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's just literally made out of again, mangled metal. But more so this time, it's kind of like the undercarriage of a car is what he looks like.
Yeah.
And then his face looks more human than other Transformers.
It's strange to see their facial features and to make them seem more human, which doesn't make sense to me, because to me they're all seemingly dislike humans, but they look more human now.
Right.
Which I don't get, but it's just the way that they decided to go.
Yeah. But then we cut over to bringing in Good Vibrations with Marky Mark. He plays Cade Yeager, and his family is broke. They're trying to do inventions and stuff like that, and they end up buying a truck. And
it looks like a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Very bad piece of crap.
But that's because it's been beat to heck. And they bring it back home, and they're trying to figure out what happened to it, because there's mortar shells in it. There's it's got bullet holes, and so they try fixing it to see if they can sell things for parts, because again, they're broke. And it turns out to be Optimus Prime, and there is his assistant Lucas is like, oh no, we can't, we get money if
if we turn in a Transformer.
Right. So Lucas's idea is they're going to sell it to make money, and it's kind of I don't know. I couldn't stand his character. I could not stand.
I never condone humans dying, or I'm okay with that usually, but he was really obnoxious. His character was semi-pointless, other than to maybe show that I don't even know what he was there for, other than to make that call to start this entire movie, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think that's really literally only... Because if anyone else made the phone call, it wouldn't be redeemable.
Yeah. But here, Optimus Prime actually goes through a whole story arc through the movie. He goes from, they're hunting me now, and I can't stand this. They're killing my friends. They're killing everybody. And by the end of it, he's like, all right, now I guess I will, maybe I should make that sacrifice, because, the sacrifice that Cade's willing to make for him. So eventually we learn that. And then we learn of, Cade's daughter, Tessa, she's
also very annoying.
Yeah, because all she's saying is dad throughout the movie.
I miss you. I don't know. She's dealing with her boyfriend, Shane, which that whole relationship is kind of awkward when they show... This is what we're reviewing. Their whole relationship is very awkward, and I did not understand that whole Romeo and Juliet law card that he pulled out.
Yeah, that was she had to stop to the movie. Just
here's the card. So
it was so ridiculous. You actually scratch your head and you go, why would they actually have to make this law? Why couldn't they just make his character 19 and make it okay? Because in majority of states, I think if she's 17 and he's 19, it's okay. But in Texas, it's okay if a 20-year-old is dating a 17-year-old if they
have a pre-existing relationship. Because we needed to know all of this.
We didn't. We really didn't.
Pointless. just one of the many scenes in the movie that's a bit pointless.
Optimus, they actually decided to make him a flat-faced truck, for his escape, which is a nod to G1.
Yeah.
I guess because...
Oh, I didn't catch that. Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize that it was a nod to G1. I didn't catch that the first time.
That's kind of like something that, like, if you're like, oh wow, he's a flat-faced truck again, but then again he's like beat the heck, so you don't really see him being a red truck, but he does have the flame still, which
I still think is unnecessary, but whatever.
Well, I guess it works for him, like in robot mode, like you can see the red and the blue and the contrast with him, but he does get an upgrade, so he does become a bigger truck. And that bigger truck does actually, look a lot better than the beater truck they used.
Yeah, he's shiny and brand new again.
But it's robot mode. Like, where do the truck parts go? Like, he turns into a robot, and again, all the parts go all over the place, and you can't figure out how in the world he's transforming into that vehicle. You don't see truck parts on him anymore. You see the red flames. Over blue, but you see them in mishmash of places.
I don't know. I didn't pick up on that too much because I feel like even in the other movies, his parts you could see, but they didn't look quite the same. I don't know, you could see where his fender was, but it looked flimsy, and I don't know. I just think
the transformation is kind of just with him, and then pretty much every other Transformer in this movie, they cheat, so to speak. You can't figure out where the car parts are. But then you get the new characters that come in. You have Crosshairs, you have Hound, and you have Drift. And Crosshairs, he looks awesome, but he's he gets annoying. He gets on your nerves after a while because he's always oh, I want to go on my own. I don't want to be led by anybody. But he looks cool because he had his car parts actually become a trench coat. And then Hound, he turns into a military truck, and then he's like John Goodman when he was on Roseanne, but with the beard,
like a Jack Sparrow beard.
Yeah, well, his beard, what he reminds me of? He reminds me of when he played Walter in Big Lebowski. Again, there's another actor from Big Lebowski that ends up in Transformers. But here he is, he's playing a Transformer, and his he actually the beard is huge, but he's not really G1 Hound.
No.
He's more like Bulkhead. Then Drift, I don't know where they decided to go with this design for Drift, because this whole samurai thing, that's not what Drift looks like, if you follow the IDW comics where they actually pulled that character from. So they decided to make this a completely different Drift, and he's a triple changer. He turns into a helicopter and he turns into a sports car. And you almost miss when he does it, when he turns into a helicopter, because he turns into a copter when he's coming down off the mountains, and then he also turns into a helicopter when he's lifting Bumblebee up to rescue Cade. And but now Bumblebee, he has an evasion mode kind of car as well. It's a black, car with a yellow front, so he's more black than he is yellow. But then he goes back into being a Camaro again, and this time he picks up the robot mode of Stinger, which leads us into the actual Decepticons in this movie. That pretty much what happened after the war, after the Battle of Chicago. All the robot parts are basically used by a corporation called KSI, run by Stanley Tucci's character, who decides, hey, you know what, we're just going to melt down all the metal, and then we're going to reprogram it. And what is the most stupid thing that they decide to call it? Transformium.
Yeah.
Obviously it's living metal, but this, the way that they decide to program it in this movie, it looks terrible. The whole, it does this weird graphical stuff. It literally looks like we're watching a computer game, from back in the day kind of thing, instead of actually seeing actual transforming metal.
Right. It's so weird.
Cheats.
Yeah.
And they actually build a prototype called Galvatron. And it actually is Megatron reincarnated. So this Galvatron, like, it looks, he looks crazy. But they decided to, like, mix the idea of him being Megatron Reborn as well as him being a Nemesis Prime with him being a truck.
Yeah.
So, because the whole idea is that they wanted him to be Optimus Prime but better and be able to be sold, and then, Stinger was supposed to be Bumblebee but better. Yeah, he's kind of there. Well, he's not leading much, and he's not there much. He doesn't have many lines. He doesn't have much to say, much to do. I mean, he's not supposed to talk at first, right?
But then he does. So
right, and now he's voiced by Frank Welker because Hugo Weaving is no longer with the movie franchise, and so they brought Frank Welker finally to voice Megatron again, but he's Galvatron, and he has very little lines, but the lines he does have, I mean, it goes to show you that, like, Frank Welker is Megatron.
Yeah.
I
didn't catch it at first, but then I was like, oh yeah, it does sound like him.
Yeah, because sometimes the way that he does sound doesn't really sound like even.
He's really good. So he's been doing this for such a long time.
I know.
He's amazing.
Yeah, Frank Welker is amazing. He's been in so many movies.
And so many cartoon characters that are like iconic.
Exactly. Like and this Stinger is, first of all, the KSI Decepticons, I can't stand the way that they transform.
Yeah. Like,
they come apart in like a million pieces in the air, and then they reform and reshape into robot mode. It's the most ridiculous idea I think that they've decided to do since, like, actually making the Transformers not look like anything but mangled metal. Mm-hmm. Now they're going even one step further. They're even, like, cheating with transforming. And by the end of it, like, when he actually, like, when Galvatron has control over all 50 KSI prototypes, they all start taking the forms of, like, previous Decepticons. Like, you see, like, a two-headed Shockwave. And there's a couple of them. It's like there's more than one of them.
There's a lot of Stingers.
Yeah, I almost want to call them Too Bad, from He-Man. Just because, like, the two heads don't like each other. But that's, like, what they are. Like, it's just like they're like, and they're almost like background, like, bots. Like, you see them, like, fighting around, and
you don't see them fully. You can't quite get a hang on their characters.
So, like, they actually go into like, Optimus actually gets captured by Lockdown. Mm-hmm. And when he gets captured, he's, like, put into this prison ship within Lockdown's ship, and it has all of these other Transformers held prisoner, and they are actually knights, just like Optimus Prime apparently is. And so Lockdown, like, he puts them into this prison, and the prison is almost like, if you remember the episode where Galvatron goes nuts, and they bring him to this planet of, like, other creatures that are also crazy, and they are also in cages.
Yes.
And so, like, all these creatures,
weird
they're really
things. They're so weird.
Yeah, and so all the creatures in there, like, they have the same, like, weird look to them. But the other creatures that are in there are the Cybertronian Knights, that are legendary warriors. And when they eventually do get them free, it's the Dinobots. But they're the Dinobots, but they're at the end of the movie. Like, literally, they're, like, it's past the 2-hour mark.
Extinction.
Yeah, the age of extinction. Here the dinosaurs are, the Dinobots, and they don't talk. They roar, right? There's 4 of them. I guess we can talk about whether or not there are 4 or there are 5, depending upon, Yeah, there's supposed to be 5 Dinobots, but here they do 4. And the one who's Swoop, or Strafe as he's called, is a 2-headed pterodactyl, which made no sense. But the Dinobots themselves, they don't have any lines, yet it seemed like they wanted to cover the story arc of the Dinobots. Like, the actual story of the Dinobots is that they think that they are superior to the Autobots, and so, Grimlock believes that he should lead the Autobots based upon the fact that he's stronger. Well, Optimus Prime bests him. But they don't tell that in storytelling. Grimlock could have said a couple of lines. He could have said, like, me, Grimlock, is stronger, me, Grimlock, should lead. And
make him.
I don't care. He should have. He should have.
I like. I love Grimlock, but they're not going to do that. When have they ever followed correctly anything that's ever been done, ever for Transformers? Like they take bits and pieces of everything, and just do whatever they want with it.
Dinobots are a big part of G1, and if they're going to introduce them, if they're going to make a big deal of them, granted, it's awesome seeing the Dinobots smash through Hong Kong,
enormous.
And they're huge, and they smash through everything, and it's awesome to see Optimus Prime ride Grimlock. I mean, with the chair on the back of the G1 Grimlock toy, I always wanted to see someone riding Grimlock, just because of that. And at the same time, it's the last 20 minutes of the film, and by that point, I don't know about you, but I almost started falling asleep when we were rewatching it. I'm sitting there, I'm like, really? Now the Dinobots are coming in? I'm so tired. I have to open my eyes now. I have to wake myself up, because now something awesome is happening. And we're left with this last half hour of a climax of all this awesome action happening, and the final battle between Optimus and Lockdown, and we're tired by that point.
Yeah.
Because so many storylines were happening and so many things were going on. But the whole thing is there are so many scenes that I feel like they could have cut to make them shorter.
Yeah.
Dark of the Moon had that a lot, but this movie had it even worse.
Oh, yeah.
This movie, I felt like you could have cut this, you could have cut this, you could have cut this, you could make this shorter, the whole setup to killing Ratchet. All the troops are getting out, they're getting ready, they have to set the helicopters up, and they need to take literally, it took 2 minutes before they finally found Ratchet. And I'm you could have cut 2 minutes out of the film.
And, well, they had to make a cool entrance for Savoy, who was the Man in Black.
The Man in Black,
from Lost.
Yeah.
It's ah!
He's been in everything, too.
Fair bit. He's starting to get more popular now.
Yeah. But, his character is just, he's just really evil. He feels well, you know what? I lost a sister in Chicago, so, you're not going to get any mercy from me. So, and they do things, the whole Cemetery Wind group, they do things that it's, pretty much, illegal. You're not supposed to be able to do search and seizure, which, obviously goes against the Constitution. You're not supposed to be able to enter a house without a warrant. You're not supposed to be able to, beat the crap out of a minor and put a gun to her skull and say, make her talk.
That was Adinger, and so Savoy was just so happy to do it. He's just so quick to just want to kill everybody.
Yeah.
He's we get to kill. They're not going to get paid at the end because Savoy finally has a change in conscience, and they're oh, well, at least we get to kill him. It's just, they're so merciless. They really, and the one thing I didn't care for too much was Adinger's change in attitude. He was so inconsistent. He was so we want to create these bots, or cons really, they're the Decepticons, to save human lives and so people don't have to go into war. But then he's oh well, people die all the time, for history and for just it's I don't know, his character just he had no consistency of whether he cared for people, didn't care for people. He was quick to try and kill Tessa, Cade, everybody, but then he wanted to save lives. He didn't want to save lives. It's make up your mind. What does your character want? I
know, and then he thinks he's doing it for his country. And I mean, Optimus Prime is left with no choice. It's the first human, I think, that Optimus Prime went out and just killed.
Yeah, he was trying to save Cade, so it was justified because Cade would have died had Optimus not done what he did to save him. Yeah. But it is the first time Optimus had ever killed somebody.
He did kill the foot soldiers though, were in the Cemetery Wind when he was escaping from the barn. But those were here I am. He jumps out and he starts shooting. That's again, he goes out to save Cade. So
yeah, he realizes Cade is willing to die to save him and his friends. Optimus was, I would say, maybe justified in killing Kelsey Grammer's character because he was going to kill Cade had Optimus not saved him, and he realized that Cade was willing to do anything to help him and his friends, so Optimus was willing to do whatever he needed to do to help Cade.
Yeah, so pretty much it's like, I'm going to defend my family, and I think, you know, if anything the movie like tried to bring across is that family is important.
Yeah.
You know, by the end of the movie, like, you know, it's like literally like an arc between Optimus that like you've not seen him have to go through before. And
super angry.
Yeah. He is super angry. Like, he just feels like
he pretty much asks Cade, like, what's wrong with you humans? And Cade has to tell him, that's what we do, we make mistakes. He's like, I was helping you only for the money, but if I didn't help you, you wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah. You know, and speaking of money, there were so many product placements in this film.
Yeah, it was really bad.
From the Oreo bot to the, you know, breaking off the Bud Light, you know,
the
bottle.
milk.
Yeah, the Shihua milk.
Yeah,
You had to drink it, and then because they were filming in Hong Kong, as we were talking about yesterday with the Transformers Dark of the Moon, how they were doing things to make this film open up in China. They had to film the last battle in Hong Kong, and they added in a bunch of like Chinese like celebrities. Like, they added like a pop star, they added different actors, and they added just different scenes that just they didn't seem to fit. Like, some of it did.
Scene was really bad.
Yeah, especially like Stanley Tucci is sitting there flipping out, and
he flips out really well though.
yeah, he does.
Like all his movies.
And then you're sitting there scratching your head, and you're going like this scene is just awkward. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. They want to make the one martial arts guy look good, and he does. He looks awesome. So does the actress, because she can kick, you know, butt as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, the scene was just drawn out. Like, it took way longer than it needed to.
Yeah. Well, I don't care if he's being chased, like, and he's telling this random guy, so the whole thing just felt unnecessary and a bit awkward.
So, but other than that, I mean, as overall, I think this movie is not really that good.
Yeah.
If I were to rank it, it's kind of hard to rank because, like, whether or not to say the fourth one was the worst or whether or not the second one was the worst.
I wouldn't say it's the worst. It's definitely not the worst. It's just not great.
Well, I'm talking about as far as all four Transformers movies, though. Like, which one is worse, Revenge of the Fallen or Age of Extinction? Like, which one is worse?
That's what I mean. Like, number 2 is by far the worst.
Yeah.
And 3 and 4 are kind of teetering on the edge of meh.
Well, I mean, 3 had a lot of instances that I enjoyed. I mean, I think the movie was okay because it tried to add a lot of stuff in, but I think that the third one failed because it needed a lot of edits, and they didn't learn their lesson when they made this one. They didn't learn how to edit for storytelling.
Yeah.
And it was just way too many jump cuts, way too many awkward, oddball moments, too much. I mean, and there were, like I said, and there's still good
There's
moments.
There's nothing more awkward than Sam Witwicky and his family, though, and his friends. That to me, this movie is way better than way light years beyond. I mean, there were some. Yeah, of course, there's some characters we didn't like. But
I liked Cade Yeager's character. I enjoyed his character overall. I liked his story arc. I liked the connection between him and Optimus Prime.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a normal guy. He came off as very action hero, which is fine. I mean, he was fighting for his daughter. I get that. So that he definitely, I liked him a lot better than Sam. Although Sam finally, by the very end, got much better. But definitely like Cade Yeager, like thousands of times better.
Yeah, I liked I liked Hound. I liked I at first liked Crosshairs, but now I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, I really didn't care for his character as much.
My whole thing with Hound was he talked way too much, and some of his lines were funny, but some of them were just, all right, we're trying really hard to make him comedic when he wasn't always comedic. And not to say I didn't like him, I did like him. I liked the three of them. They were pretty good, bouncing off each other. But yeah, I definitely had some of my own pet peeve
Yeah.
you could say.
Putting this movie all together, it's okay. It's I think it's low on the totem pole.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the best for Transformers: The Last Night. So we are going to be watching Transformers: The Last Night tomorrow. So you can stay tuned for our review. We're going to be splitting it into a spoiler-free and then a full-on spoiler talk, review. I may just do a live stream for the spoiler talk. But stay tuned for that. But the two of us will do our standard spoiler-free review. I really hope you guys like this review. And I hope you've enjoyed all of reviews for all 4 of Micheal Bay's Transformer films. If you did, thumbs up and subscribe. Be sure to hit that bell so you can get notified as more videos come out. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Check out all our other videos as well. And as always, guys, until next time.